Honorable delegates, please welcome to this fourth and hopefully last video, in which I try to explain to you how to deal with the crisis. If you have been to a MainMUN conference before, you know that already. The MainMUN crisis is really near to our heart and really makes it a very unique experience. We use this tool to connect all delegates and all committees across the entire conference. And yes, like I said, make it a very unique experience. I know some of you are here for the first time, so please join me the next couple of minutes and I will try to explain to you how to deal with the crisis. The saddest thing first, not every single delegate is allowed to communicate with the crisis backroom directly. So we have this so-called chain of command. So at the top, we have the crisis committee. Then in the top second tier, we have the Security Council. Third tier, the OPCW. And lastly, our both beginner committees, the WHO and the World Food Programme. So if you are attending the crisis committee, congratulations, you are the head delegates. So that is, for instance, the case for the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom is present in all committees. But there are also delegations that are, or country delegations that are not present in the crisis committee. That is, for instance, Estonia. So there is no Estonian delegate in the crisis committee. So we go one step back. So Estonia is present at the Security Council. So the Security Council delegate of Estonia is the country's head delegate. The crisis team will inform you if you are the head delegate. So you are 100% sure about that. As a head delegate, please get in contact with your fellow delegates. That is important because you are the only one who is allowed to send directives or to communicate with the crisis backroom directly. So for instance, the United Kingdom delegate in the WHO wants to release a press statement, then WHO, please write this press statement, and UK crisis, please send in the specific directive. That makes it easier for everyone and kind of a very clear process. I mentioned a very important thing here, directives. And now let's deep dive into what is a directive. So we have 5 types of directives. So kind of ways to communicate with the crisis backroom. You have an individual action order, a group action order, an information or intelligence request. You can hand in a press release and use diplomatic communication. Don't worry, I will explain every single directive afterwards. But one thing, please just send one directive at a time. So the crisis team will answer every single directive, but they don't lose track and they can really get the crisis going. And if you send 5 directives at a time, it's kind of really confusing and it doesn't help you at all. So please wait until the directive is answered and then hand in the next one. If you send in more than one directive, they will just answer the first one and then ignore the rest. Now, directives are important. We learned that already, but what next? So there will be a Google form. The link will be provided by the crisis team or the chairs at the beginning of the conference. And you can hand in your directive via this Google form. So first, state your country, who you are, then use your unique password. It should be the same password all the time. So the crisis backroom really sees that it is you who sent the directive. For instance, that is not sneaky North Korea's sending directive in the name of the United Kingdom. Then you can please select the type of directive you want to send in and please formulate your directive text. Be there as specific as possible so the crisis team really knows what you want to do and then grant your directive. And lastly, please submit your river name. It really helps the crisis team to get back to you and find you easy on. You heard that there are 5 different types of directives. So please, I will now explain the different directives to you. So first of all, the most important one is the individual action order. It is actually used to make something. For instance, United Kingdom wants to deploy an aircraft carrier. That is possible. Just use the individual action order and be, as I said, as specific as possible so the crisis team knows what's in your head. For you, it's very obvious why you want to deploy the aircraft carrier, but maybe not for the crisis team. If you hand it in, the crisis team will read it and then answer your directive. Yes, your aircraft carrier has been deployed, or yes, food has been sent. A press release is the second most important directive you will send in. It's mostly used to condemn or condole something. North Korea's nuclear weapons test, for instance, is a very popular example here. You will write the press release and we will release this on a specific designated river channel. So please have a look at this river channel. We will also use it to give you information about the crisis. So we will not correct it. We'll just publish it. And yes, so that's actually a very easy directive. A group action order follows the same logic as an individual action order. You just need 2 or more people to hand in the group action order. For instance, the NATO wants to deploy aircraft carriers. That is an order. The crisis team will just get in contact with all the delegation mentions to ask, are you aware of this action order? And then they will deal with the order. So please keep in mind that if someone is in the group action order, they will get to know it. And if just one single country mentioned on the group action order is not aware of it, it will fail. You can also hand in a group action order as an entire committee. For instance, the World Food Programme wants to send food to starving people. That is an order. Then just ask your chairs to hand in the group action order. That makes it a lot easier for the crisis backroom to answer your group action order. An information and intelligence request actually explains itself. The crisis backroom will act as your secret service and will give you secret informations about the crisis, about something else. You just state what you want to know and they will give you the information you requested. You can use that to plan your strategies, use it during debate to bait maybe someone. What you want to do with it is actually up to you. Diplomatic communication is a different thing. So, for instance, the crisis UK wants to speak with Estonia, but Estonia is not in the crisis committee. So please send in the diplomatic communication and the crisis backroom will get in contact with Estonia and they will, get UK and Estonia get together. Another thing is, for instance, if you're wanting to speak with a country that is not at the entire conference, for instance, North Korea, that is also possible. Just hand in the diplomatic communication and the crisis backroom will act as North Korea. But is there more? Yes, of course, there is more. You can also address the crisis in your committee. And there are 3 different ways to do so. First of all, there is a moderated caucus. You can just say moderated caucus to discuss the crisis. That is fine. The chairs will grant it. You can also address it via formal debate. So if you're on the speakers list and you're the next, you can address the crisis. If you want to discuss the crisis deeply, then maybe the most suitable way to do so is just to amend the agenda. That is a motion you will find in the rules of procedure, and the chairs are most likely to grant that. That was a very quick run through and I really hope that you got everything you wanted to know. If you really need more to know, this is the crisis team that organized it. You see your two chairs, Sarah and Natalie. Just contact them, ask them everything you want to know via River or via MainMUN. That is in order. These guys are the most important people you will get in contact with. That's the crisis backroom. They will answer your directives and talk to you. Now, lastly, I just have one more thing to say. I really enjoyed explaining the crisis to you, and I hope you really got the crisis and now everything about the crisis. I doubt that, but if you have any questions, please contact us. You will find via social media or just via River later in the conference. We will explain everything to you. Your chairs are there to explain everything to you. So if you really need help, please ask us. But one more thing, we always like followers, so please make sure that you follow us on our social media accounts. And yes, that was the crisis explanation video. So please stay safe. And yes, we will see you in round about a week. Thank you for watching. Bye.